So welcome back. Hope you guys appreciate the microphone and the sweet sultry voice. Sincere as this. We got a video right now. Keke Palmer talking about uh, a not often talked about double standard in terms of dating, in terms of what women are criticized for looking for, what men are criticized for looking for. So let's take a look. You know, we gotta gatekeep them to you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Let's go.
Nobody cares when a man finds his woman under a bridge.
No, I live for Stedman, but you know that Stedman has for many decades been the butt of jokes.
Yeah, because of gender rules.
Yes.
People feel like because she's Oprah Winfrey, who did y'all want her to be with? Barack Obama? That doesn't make sense,
Yeah,
guys. I mean, I feel like that's the weird thing about powerful women, what we're left with.
Mhm.
So I'm supposed to find love, but he's got to have a certain amount of money, and then, but at the same time, I got to still be like, guys, what's going on
Yeah.
here?
I think what's going on here is yeah, it's definitely double standard, but who who are you voicing that like against? Who created that? Like men didn't tell you what you or whom you should be with, right? It's women that came here and said, "I want someone that's making as much as I am or better." We didn't tell you, no, you should accept me. I work third shift at the plant. We would love for you to do that, but you don't. There's was that other so that woman said that she wouldn't date the bus driver because this is what her standard is, right? We just sort of get that. We have to accept that. Yeah, sure. There's a large subset of us railing against that, right? Gnashing our teeth against the sky and complaining that no, you should. But largely that's sort of the sentiment of women on here, that this is what I want for a guy because this is my own lifestyle as it is. I go to these places, I take myself here, I can do these things for me. Why would I want to be with someone that couldn't at least do the same for themselves? Or wouldn't be able to keep up with the things that I want to do. B. Simone said it, right? You can't date a guy that has a 9 to 5 because he's not going to understand my lifestyle. Okay, this conversation is largely driven by women. This is what you're saying you don't want. Okay, so now when you find yourselves in this position that you've done well for yourself, and salute, absolutely salute. Now that you find it that it's much more difficult to find someone that's on that level because now you want a smaller you're looking for a smaller piece of the pie. And if you're like me, you love pie, right? You want as much pie as you can get. You want pie options as you can have. But now you don't. You're left with this slither and this slither, and then that slither understands that he is in rarefied air, that he is a sought after piece of the pie. He's the red velvet, right? Amongst plain vanilla, you know, cake. He gets to dictate what he wants. So he's looking and saying, well, you're not exactly what I want. Yeah, sure. You made money. Never cared, right? Those that have that amount of money, I don't think it's so much of the most important factor to them, right? So cool, you've done well, but I can still pick up the girl that lives under the bridge. Right? It's again, this is not a conversation that's been driven by men. This is not men holding women to that standard.
Why am I? Nobody cares when a man finds his woman under a bridge. No one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares. And I frankly don't care if that's who you love, that's who you love. Why do we have to deal with that?
Yes.
That to me makes no sense. I ain't never.
You got to ask the sisterhood, right? This is not a conversation for men here, right? This is not something that men can conceivably really answer. Why you guys hold yourselves to that?
Look, my daddy told me a man needs to treat you right.
Mhm.
He needs to handle and service you in whatever way you need service. Let me
Yes.
tell you one thing that Kiki don't need.
Money.
From nobody. Now, if you want to give a little something and get my
Right.
nails done, something
Right.
cute,
But
I'm fine.
So yeah, if you're like you're in Kiki's position, you don't need a man for money, right? And I know a lot of women like that. You don't need a man for money, but you need a man for the other things. You can increase your odds of finding that man if you remove the money figure, if you let go of that stigma that I think really other women are holding you to. If you want to date someone that makes less than you, that shouldn't be a determining factor, especially if that person's hitting on very important aspects that you need in your life, that you need from a partner. Don't let society, don't let TikTok and social media dictate what's best for you, what makes sense for you, right? Because at the end of the day, you're not. Yes, while we we are probably in bed scrolling on our phones, doom scrolling on our phones on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, Facebook, MySpace. If you haven't gotten the message, yeah, you actually don't live with that. That's not your partner. That's not the thing that keeps you warm at night. Just food for thought. Let me know what you think in the comments below.